1, this is V, this is the resultant. Okay, so wind velocity, incident wind velocity, blade linear velocity, and relative velocity. Now, coming to the next, what we can say is that the windmills, they can extract the maximum energy from the wind because of the aerofoil or airfoil design. Now, coming to few of the angles. One is the angle of attack or angle of incidence. This angle. It is the angle between the center line of the aerofoil and the relative wind velocity, that is VR. The airflow remains attached to the aerofoil for small angle of attack. The airflow is separated from the aerofoil for large angles of attack. So center line and VR. Now, pitch angle or blade setting angle, that is gamma. It is the angle between the center line of the airfoil and the direction of linear motion of the blade, that is V and center line of the airfoil. The output of a turbine is greatly influenced by its blade pitch angle. The blade pitch control is very effective way to control the output power and the speed and the torque of the wind turbine. So this is how we define. Now coming to drag force and lift force. Okay, so drag force and lift force shown from this figure. So what is drag force? When a body, that is aerofoil, is placed in uniform airflow, there are two forces that acts on the body, namely the pressure force that is acting normally and the shear force that is acting along the surface. The pressure force and shear force can be combined to give the total force exerted by the wind on the body of the blade. This total force can now be resolved in the direction parallel to airflow and perpendicular to airflow. The component of total force parallel to the direction of airflow is known as drag. It is dragging, and the drag force always opposes the motion between the body and the air, and it is given by this kind of formula, where CD is the drag coefficient and A is the projected area of the body airfoil perpendicular direction of the airflow. So FD. So FD, that is the drag force. Now coming to the lift force, the component of the total force, that is total force means the pressure and the shear force on the body in the direction that is perpendicular to the direction of the airflow is known as a lift force. So it is something that is lifting it up. So as the name suggests, it helps to lift the body. One is dragging the body, one is lifting the body. Both of these forces are very essential for the blade to rotate. So lift force. So this is delta FL, that is delta FT. Now coming to axial force. The total force, that is a combination of pressure and shear force, can also be resolved along the direction of rotation of the blade and perpendicular to it. The component of total force acting on the blade along the axis of rotation is known as axial force. And the tangential force is a component of the total force on the blade acting tangential to its circular path of rotation. So we can say this is delta Ft, this is delta Fa, and these are all having their own particular expressions. Okay, so this tangential force is the main force that contributes to extract the useful energy from the wind turbine. Now, coming to the very, very important concept of tip speed ratio. This is the important concept that design engineers take into consideration for designing a blade or a wind turbine blade. So, tip speed ratio is defined as the ratio of the speed of the tip of the rotor to the speed of the oncoming air. So, we can say tip speed ratio is given by omega r by u0. For a particular wind speed, there exists an optimum turbine tip speed ratio to produce the maximum output. It is important to match the rotation of the wind turbine. So it's a small problem. So find the tip speed ratio if a 6-meter diameter rotor has a rotation of 20 rpm and the wind speed is 4 meter per second. So just follow the formula. So omega r by u0. So it is given as pi r into the speed, that is the rotation. So pi, so r is the radius, that is 6 meter, 20 is the rotation speed, that is 20 rpm, 60, and the 60 is coming down, and u0 is the incident speed, that is 4. So tip speed ratio is coming as 1.6. So, what is the implication of the tip speed ratio and the concept of power coefficient? The implication of the tip speed ratio says that the windmill that is rotating fast tip has a tip speed ratio greater than 1. Two or three bladed rotors they rotate faster, thereby having tip speed ratio ranging from 3 to 10. More bladed rotors move slowly, thereby having the tip speed ratio between 1 and 2. So tip speed ratio changing means the rotation is also changing. Now coming to the concept of power coefficient. The fraction of free flow wind power that can be extracted by a rotor is known as the power coefficient. Given by this formula, that is power coefficient is power of the wind rotor by power available in the wind. As already discussed, according to Beck's criteria, this value is 0.593 or the fractional thing is that 59.3%. So this is power coefficient. Now, coming to the types of windmills. So, what are the different types of windmills? These are horizontal axis and vertical axis. The windmills can be classified as horizontal axis and vertical axis depending upon the axis of rotation. When the axis of rotation is parallel to the airstream, then it is known as horizontal axis. And when it is perpendicular to the airstream, it is known as vertical axis. The horizontal axis wind turbines are the mostly used ones, which have the rotors similar to aircraft ones, and vertical axis windmills have egg beater type of rotors. Now coming to the different schematics and its part. So this is a very important concept of the constructional features. So this is one view, that is a side view, and this is the front view. We have different parts like the tail vane, the generator, the gear train, the nacelle, the brakes, the hub, and the rotor blades. So this is the front view. So each and every part will have its own function. Now coming to the turbine blades. The turbine blades have aerofoil type of cross section in order to extract the maximum energy. These blades are made up of high density material that can be glass fiber, epoxy composites. The blades are twisted from the tip to root to maintain a particular pitch angle. We have already defined pitch angle. Most of the wind turbines they have two or three blades similar to the propeller of an old aeroplane. But blades of a wind turbine they rotate at very slow speed as compared to an aeroplane. The two-bladed rotors give much smoother power output compared to five-bladed ones. Okay, now coming to the hub. Hub is the thing that actually is it carries the rotor blades. So hub is the central solid portion of the rotor. It helps in attachment of all the blades and incorporation of the pitch angle control mechanism. Now coming to nacelle. The rotor is attached to the nacelle, which is mounted on top of the tower. And the nacelle, it mainly contains the gearbox, the generators, the controls, and the brakes. And the purpose of the gearbox is to regulate the output rotation from the rotor with the speed of the generator. Electromagnetic brakes are provided for automatic application of the brakes if the wind speed exceeds the design speed. If the wind speed becomes dangerously high, then brakes are provided, just like cars. Then your control system. This is a very important aspect only found in horizontal axis wind turbines. The yaw control system is provided to adjust the nacelle around the vertical axis so that the rotor blades are always facing the wind stream. And in small wind turbines, as shown in the figure, a tail vane is used as a passive yaw control. Now, coming to the tower is used to provide the support for the nacelle and the rotor, and the tower height should be sufficient enough so that the wind can intercepted by the rotor. For medium and large size wind turbines, the rotor is slightly taller than the rotor diameter, while in small wind turbines, the rotor is much larger. And tower are made up of materials like concrete and steel. And the electrical system. The electrical systems are the generators. What kind of generators? Induction generators to convert the mechanical energy to useful electrical energy. And the induction generators are brushless and rugged in construction. So these are the different parts. Now coming to the concept of yaw control. What is yaw control? It's very, very important. So yaw control means the area of the wind turbine set by the area of the wind stream set by the wind turbine is maximum when the blades are facing the wind. This is achieved by a control arrangement which is whenever the wind direction changes, this control is operating and the motor rotates and the turbine slowly turns about the vertical axis or yaw so that the blades face the wind. For localities where the prevailing wind is in one direction, the design of a turbine can be greatly simplified. However, the rotor can be having a fixed direction. That is, these kind of rotors are known as yaw fixed. But most wind turbines are actually yaw active. That is, the wind direction changes, they will track the changing direction, and that's how they will circulate the control medium. In this case, a motor is rotating the turbine slowly about the vertical axis or yaw axis so that the blades are now facing the wind. The area of the wind stream swept by the wind is then a maximum. In smaller wind turbines, the yaw action is controlled by a tailwind, similar to that of the American windmills. In larger machines, a servo mechanism operated by a wind direction sensor, this controls the yaw motor to keep the wind turbine blades properly yaw oriented. Coming to vertical axis wind turbines. This is the particular schematic. As you can see, the foundation, the bearing, the gearbox, and the generator all are at the base. So, vertical axis wind turbines has the axis of rotation of its rotor perpendicular to the direction of the wind stream. The vertical axis wind turbine has its following advantages. It can accept wind from any direction, no need of yaw control. It can have several gearbox and generators at the ground level, thereby eliminating the necessity of mounting the heavy nacelle at the top of the tower. These are the features of VAWT or vertical axis wind turbine also simplifies the design and installation, and it is easy to maintain. And a vertical axis wind turbine is also known as a Darius type wind turbine. This is the figure of a Darius type wind turbine. There is a bearing, there is a guy rope, there is a cross arm, there are blades, there is a tower, and the bearing, gearbox, generator, and the foundation is at the base. So this is a schematic of a Darius type vertical axis wind turbine. So as we go for the parts, so it's a tower. The tower consists of a hollow vertical shaft which can rotate about its vertical axis between its bearings at the top and bottom. It is provided with a supportive structure, and there are guy ropes. The height of the tower is about 100 meters. Then the blades, the wind turbine has two or three blades which are thin and curved shape similar to a egg beater. That is a beater that we use. The blades are curved in such a way that minimum bending stresses are produced on rotation due to the centrifugal forces. The blades are also designed having aerofoil cross section. The height of the blade is about 94, diameter is 65, and chord length is 2.4. And the support structure, it is provided with blades, gearbox, and generator to support the weight of the vertical axis wind turbine tower. Now, this is a very, very important comparison between horizontal axis wind turbine and vertical axis wind turbine. First comparison step, that is the axis of rotation. Axis of rotation is parallel, axis of rotation is perpendicular. These are commonly used and fully developed. These are under development stage. The rotor has to face the wind stream. It is provided with yaw control. The rotor can accept winds from any direction, no need of yaw control. Nacelle carrying gear train controls and gearbox are mounted on the top. The gear train controls generator can be located at ground level. Tower has to be strong and designed properly. Tower is simple in construction and installation. Inspection and maintenance is difficult. This is easy. HAWT is costly, VAWT is less costly. HAWT is less noisy, VAWT is more noisy. And major help is that it extracts more power from the wind. Here, the extraction of power is less. Technology is also developed here. Technology is under development. Less fatigue due to wind action, more fatigue. Designed to use the lift force. HAWT uses lift force. VAWT uses drag force. HAWT is more efficient, output is smooth. It is less efficient, output is fluctuating, produces low starting torque, produces high starting torque, operates properly in moderate wind levels, can operate even in low wind levels. Pitch of the blade can be controlled, no control of the pitch of blade. So, depending upon the marks that is given in the exam, we can just choose out of this the first 5 or 6 points. Coming to the concept of the rotors, these rotors are present in the H VAWT, that is vertical axis wind turbine. One is known as the Savonius rotor and another is known as the Darius rotor. So Savonius rotor has few advantages, like it produces power effectively in slow wind speed. The generator can be located at ground level. The tower is simple. Disadvantages is that it uses only drag force. Power output is low. Pitch control is impossible. Few points. Now coming to Darius rotor. The rotor blade can accept the wind from any direction. It does not require war control. The blades have constant pitch, no need for pitch control. Disadvantages is it's a not self-starting machine. It works on drag force and its efficiency to convert wind energy is low compared to horizontal access points. It can have limited height and it cannot be yawed out of the wind. Especially high torque braking system is required during occurrence of high wind speed. So this is a few of the